Welcome to Mythos AI, your source for Cliff's Notes on complex subjects. Join Anna and Phil for yet another engaging conversation.
So today, we're diving deep into the career of Jeff Dean.
One of the absolute biggest names in computing and AI these days.
He really is. From optimizing computer programs all the way to leading Google's AI initiatives, Dean's had his hand in shaping a lot of what we see today.
It's a fascinating case study, really.
It is.
This deep technical expertise and a sense for where things are going.
Yeah,
It can lead to some truly groundbreaking innovations.
it absolutely can. So where did it all begin? I mean, Jeff Dean's aptitude for problem solving, that was obvious right from the get-go.
Yeah, absolutely. Even before he was really formally in the field, he was already showing this knack for, dissecting complex hues.
Yeah.
And that natural talent, it got honed even further during his time at the University of Minnesota.
That's where he graduated summa cum laude back in 1990. Dual degree in computer science and economics. Not a simple combo.
Not at all, no, a real testament to his abilities. But he doesn't stop there. Dean then goes for his PhD computer science at the University of Washington this time. And his focus there, that would end up being a running theme throughout his career.
Yeah.
Optimizing computer programs.
Under the guidance of some pretty big names, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Craig Chambers, David Notkin.
They were big influences, for sure.
Huge.
Their mentorship, it definitely shaped his approach.
Oh, yeah.
It's during this time that he really gets into compiler optimization, which, looking back, really laid the groundwork for all his later work in scalable computing.
It's true. It's like he was always focused on making programs run more efficiently.
Yeah.
And you can see how that leads directly to handling these massive data sets and building systems that could just scale forever.
Exactly. Building that toolkit piece by piece.
Yeah.
A toolkit that would let him tackle the challenges of a world that runs on data.
That's it. And that's what's so interesting about his time at Digital Equipment Corporation, DEC, as it was called.
Right, DEC.
There's like a real-world testing ground for all these skills he was developing.
Exactly. And it's at DEC's Western Research Lab that Dean really gets into compiler optimization and profiling tools. And one of the big things to come out of this period is his work on Profile Me.
Okay, Profile Me.
This was a tool that was designed to basically get all this runtime performance data.
I see.
Essentially, you could do a deep dive into how the software was actually performing. You could see where to make things better, where to optimize.
Yeah, almost like a precursor to the kind of large-scale performance analysis that you just need to manage these complex systems today.
That's it, exactly. This time at DEC often gets overlooked, because of his time at Google later.
Right.
But it was so important for him understanding how to build systems that could handle both the performance needs and the need to scale.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about the tools. It was about understanding the principles at play.
Principles that would become, let's just say, pretty valuable when he joined this, at the time, kind of unknown company called Google back in '99.
Pivotal moment for both
Yeah.
of them. This was the internet, but the early days.
Oh, for sure.
And Google, they had ambition, but they were still figuring things out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dean shows up at just the right time and dives headfirst into their operations.
Developing and scaling advertising and search infrastructure.
Talk about a challenge.
I know it.
Even back then, Google was handling a serious amount of data, and it was only growing.
Exponentially, practically.
It was, and this is where Dean's expertise in building systems that could handle that kind of growth really shines through. I mean, think about how Google handles those billions of searches every single day.
Yeah.
That's Dean's work on MapReduce right there. It's like taking a huge problem, chopping up into tiny pieces, solving them all at the same time, and then putting it all back together.
Right.
Completely changed the game for large-scale data processing.
So instead of one machine trying to do everything, MapReduce let Google spread the load out across a network of servers.
Exactly. This distributed approach was essential for keeping up with the sheer volume of data that Google was dealing with.
Yeah.
It was a foundational change that let their systems scale to meet the needs of a user base that was growing incredibly fast.
And it wasn't just about searches, right? Google was also gathering huge amounts of structured data, the information behind all their services.
And that's where Bigtable comes in. This wasn't just some database. It was a distributed storage system made from the ground up to deal with massive data sets spread out across a huge network.
So if MapReduce handled the processing, Bigtable was the storage. Yeah.
Precisely. A 1-2 punch, and both were hugely influenced by Dean's vision of building systems that could handle the scale that Google was approaching, even back then. And it wasn't just about preparing for the future, Dean was also knee-deep in making Google's core products better right now.
Yeah, like search still Google's kind of
Yeah.
flagship product.
Oh, absolutely. And Dean's fingerprints are all over it. He's leading the charge on improving those indexing systems, making those search results lightning fast and relevant. And then the algorithms for how web pages are stored and retrieved, that was him too.
Wow.
Just boosting the efficiency of the whole search engine.
It's amazing how much work goes on behind the scenes for a tool that we use every single day.
Right. And it doesn't stop at search either. Dean was also instrumental in building out Google's advertising infrastructure.
Which, that's the heart of their business model.
It is, and we're talking about handling huge amounts of real-time data because you got to serve those ads effectively.
Yeah.
And Dean, he understood that as Google grew, that ad system had to grow with it seamlessly.
And building something that can scale like that in real time, that's not easy.
It requires a deep understanding of how software works, how data flows, the whole dance. Dean had that, and then some. His work there was absolutely critical in making Google's ad platform what it is today. But then he makes a move that, honestly, surprised some people. He shifted his focus to something that, at the time, wasn't really on anyone's radar: artificial intelligence.
And not just a little side project, right? In 2011, he co-founds Google Brain, a whole research initiative dedicated to deep learning.
Exactly. Deep learning back then and now, it's all about these neural networks, these systems modeled after the human brain.
Yeah.
Dean, along with Greg Corrado and Andrew Ng, they saw the potential there.
It's interesting, this shift from systems to AI. It makes sense in a way.
How so?
It's like he was building the tools, laying the foundation, almost in anticipation of AI.
That's a really good point. And, the Google Brain project, it starts producing results quickly. They're seeing huge improvements, especially in speech recognition and image recognition.
And of course, who could forget the cat recognition project?
Oh, yeah, that one.
That felt like a real turning point, for AI in the public eye.
I agree. And it wasn't just some fun experiment, and it really showcased the power of unsupervised learning. The AI teaching itself to recognize cats in YouTube videos.
Great.
Groundbreaking stuff for the time.
It really captured everyone's imagination.
Oh.
Suddenly, the potential of AI felt very, very real.
Exactly. And Dean was right there at the forefront. Under his leadership, Google Brain became this cornerstone of their whole AI strategy, driving all these advancements and everything from language processing to computer vision.
He wasn't content to just keep it all at Google, though.
Right.
Which is where TensorFlow comes in.
Exactly. 2015, Google, with Dean right in the thick of it, releases TensorFlow as this open source machine learning framework.
Open source, meaning anyone can use it, change it, contribute to it. Bold move.
Bold but smart. Dean, he knew that to really push AI forward, everyone needed to be involved.
Yeah.
So TensorFlow gives researchers and developers all over the world this powerful toolkit for building and deploying their own machine learning models.
And it took off immediately.
Oh, yeah. It became one of the most popular machine learning frameworks out there, and for good reason.
Why is that?
It was versatile. Image recognition, natural language processing, even robotics, you could do it all with TensorFlow, really helped to make AI accessible to a whole new generation.
A game changer, no question. And it formed the basis for so many of Google's own AI initiatives.
It did. TensorFlow, it became the engine for a ton of their products. And again, you see Dean's influence on where Google was headed.
And given his impact on AI as a whole, it's not surprising that in 2018, Dean was named the head of Google AI.
The natural choice.
Right.
He's now overseeing their entire global AI effort.
So now he's not just building the tools, he's setting the direction for Google's AI strategy overall.
Precisely.
What were some of the things he focused on during that time?
Well, he was a huge proponent of integrating AI into all of Google's core products. Think about how much better Google Search has gotten, how much more naturally Google Assistant understands you, how accurate Google Translate is.
It's true, yeah.
A lot of that is thanks to AI and to Dean's vision for it. But he also became a very vocal advocate for responsible AI development.
Which, given how fast AI is developing, that's more important than ever.
Absolutely. Dean understood the power of this technology, but also the risks. He knew AI had to be developed ethically, with fairness and transparency in mind.
Right. It can't just be about what AI can do. It has to be about what it should do.
Exactly. And under Dean, Google AI really prioritized research into AI fairness. trying to find and eliminate bias in algorithms, making sure these systems are used responsibly.
It's clear that Dean's contributions go way beyond just the technical stuff. He's been a leader in shaping how we even think about AI.
Absolutely.
And his story doesn't end there, does it?
Not even close. Remember, we're talking about someone who loves to solve really, really hard problems.
Right.
And even while he was running Google AI, Dean was still involved in some other groundbreaking projects. Take Spanner, for instance. Google's globally distributed database system,
Really heard of Spanner, yeah.
designed to keep data consistent, even across data centers all over the world.
Wow.
It's a massive engineering challenge.
Keeping data in sync on that scale sounds incredibly complex.
It is, imagine like a giant library catalog, but instead of books, it's all of Google's data everywhere in the world.
That's Spanner.
Pretty much. And it's a vital part of Google Cloud today.
So even while he's steering Google AI, he's still got his hands dirty with these massive infrastructure projects.
That's just the kind of guy he is. And Spanner's just one example. Dean was also still pushing the boundaries in natural language processing, even contributing to the development of something called the transformer architecture.
Okay. Which, to a lot of people, that might sound a little abstract, but it's had a huge impact on how we interact with language through computers.
Right. It has. It really has. I mean, the transformer architecture, that was a revolution for natural language processing. And to understand why, we got to talk about BERT. BERT, yeah. It stands for bidirectional encoder representations from transformers.
Okay, catchy.
Catchy, right. Anyway, the point is, it's a language model built on the same architecture that Dean helped develop.
Right.
Now, I know it sounds complicated, but
A little bit, yeah.
the name doesn't matter so much. What matters is what BERT did. It brought about these massive improvements in how Google Search understands what you're asking, the context of your searches.
I see.
So more accurate, more relevant results, especially for those more complex searches. So yeah, next time you type something into Google and you get this amazingly insightful answer, might be Dean's work on transformers you've got to thank.
It's wild how these really abstract concepts end up having such a real impact on how we experience things every day.
I know, right? And that leads us to another area where Dean's influence is really being felt. Large language models.
Yeah.
LLMs, as they're called. This is a huge leap forward for AI. We're talking about systems that can generate human-like text, hold conversations, even write different kinds of creative content.
And Dean's focus on scaling AI models, that's been crucial here, hasn't it?
It has, because these LLMs, they need massive amounts of computational power.
Right.
Training them, running them, it takes serious infrastructure and expertise.
Something that not a lot of people have.
Exactly. And, Dean's earlier work on things like MapReduce and Bigtable, that laid the groundwork for making these models a reality.
It all connects, huh?
It does. It's like he always had this vision, way beyond the immediate problems he was solving. He was building for a future where AI would demand this incredible scale and efficiency.
It's really remarkable when you think about it, how all these different threads in his career, optimizing compilers, building those distributed systems, it all comes together in this new era of AI.
It really highlights Dean's approach to innovation. He's not just solving problems, he's anticipating what's next, building the tools and infrastructure that will make tomorrow's breakthroughs possible.
And it goes beyond the technology, too. Throughout his career, Dean has always emphasized mentorship, bringing up the next generation.
Oh, absolutely. He's known for it, nurturing young engineers, both inside Google and through all these different programs.
Which is so important in a field like AI that's so complex, changing so quickly.
Yeah, it needs those fresh perspectives, that willingness to learn from each other.
To share knowledge.
Absolutely, and Dean gets that. And his commitment, it goes beyond just mentorship. He's also been a big advocate for diversity in tech.
Right. Okay.
Because to build truly innovative technology, we need people from all backgrounds with all sorts of different experiences.
Absolutely. The future of AI needs to be shaped by everyone, not just a select few.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that actually brings us to another important part of Dean's legacy. His push for ethical AI development.
Right.
He's been very clear about the need for fairness, for unbiased algorithms, for AI that actually benefits society as a whole.
Again, it's not enough to ask what AI can do. We have to ask what it should do.
Precisely. And Dean's focus on these ethical questions, it's helped shape the entire conversation around AI, pushing for more transparency, more accountability, and a real focus on the impact this technology has on all of us.
It's clear that Jeff Dean's impact, it goes way beyond the technical achievements. He's a leader who's shaping the future of this technology, not just through what he builds, but through how he thinks, how he leads, and his commitment to doing this right.
Couldn't agree more. His career is truly inspiring. It shows that real innovation, it comes from technical brilliance, sure, but also from understanding the human side of technology, using it to make things better for everyone.
Well said. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the extraordinary career of Jeff Dean. We've covered a lot, from his early days optimizing compilers all the way to his current work at the absolute forefront of AI.
It's a story full of breakthroughs, of leadership and building those scalable systems, and this constant dedication to ethical AI development.
It really is. He's helped shape how we interact with technology today, and his work is laying the foundation for the future.
A future where technology can empower everyone and benefit all of humanity.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you found it as insightful and engaging as we did.
Absolutely. And until next time.
Thanks for listening to Mythos AI. Stay tuned for more concise insights. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe for future episodes.